A very good evening. Much thanks for joining us here on the program. This is Look Up News. I am now seeing the Limerick of Sign Language interpreter is Josephine Ouko. Now, this is a day after the Wednesday Mandamano, and of course, a lot of mixed reactions coming from different quarters. We have all that lined up for you tonight, but before we get into it, here are our top stories. Tonight on Look Up News, Azimio Chairman Wycliffe Oparanya and Mavoko MP Patrick Makau arrested and questioned over Wednesday protest as Interior CS Kindiki says those arrested will face the full force of the law. Azimio coalition will resume protest next Wednesday, says Raila Odinga. And 56% of Kenyans believe the country is headed in the wrong direction as cost of living remains a major concern, a report by TIFA reveals. Once more, welcome to the broadcast. Look Up News is the hashtag to use, and you can stream this live broadcast across all our social media platforms. Lookuptv on Facebook, on Twitter, and on our YouTube channel. Let's begin. Opposition leaders have announced another spell of demonstrations on Wednesday next week to exert pressure on the government to address their key concerns, including the reconstitution of IEBC and the prevailing high cost of living. Azimio reiterates that the national government is squarely to blame for the destruction of property witnessed during the coalition's demonstrations on Wednesday. As our reporter Henry Tende now files, Odinga's team is decrying threats and intimidation from the government.
The push and pull game between the national government and the opposition is worsening day by day, putting the stability of the nation on the brink of total destruction. On Thursday, Azimio leaders led by Raila Odinga have revealed some of their leaders are in custody after the government arrested them in connection with Wednesday's demonstrations.
Hundreds of people are also being detained in police cells or have been arraigned in court for participating in a process that is protected by our constitution. Among those in police custody is our very able member of parliament for Mavoko, the Honorable Patrick Makau. And as we speak, we've just learned of the arrest of the Honorable Wycliffe Ambetsa Oparanya.
Tumeona vitisho mingi zaidi. Vile wanavyoongea. Unatisha sisi. Watu watashikwa, wanataka kuharibu uchumi na kadhalika. Sisi tumesema wazi ya kwamba sisi tutafanya kila kitu kutumia sheria.
Odinga attributing the arrest to alleged threats and intimidations from President RUTO and his allies in apparent attempts to shut the opposition.
Na wakiona kama wanasema tumefanya maovu, tumekiuka sheria, tuko tayari kushikwa na kupelekwa mahakamani. Hakuna mtu Kenya hii ambaye yuko juu ya sheria. Lakini hata Bwana RUTO yenyewe ajue ya kwamba yeye vile vile sio juu ya sheria. Anatisha watu kusema ngoja mtaona. Kama unataka kuua sisi sema hata wewe vile vile utakufa tu.
We demand immediate and unconditional dropping of all charges against Honorable Makau and Honorable Oparanya, who has been arrested just this evening.
On violence and destruction of properties witnessed on Wednesday during the demonstrations, Odinga and his team have put the blame squarely on the government, accusing President RUTO and his allies of allegedly hiring goons to wage war on peaceful demonstrators.
The brutality is not ad hoc. It is coordinated. It is even ethnicized. A special ethnic-based killer squad has been formed within the larger police service to brutalize and carry out summary execution of citizens in the name of protecting what they have been made to believe is their regime.
Azimio now says it will be moving to court, seeking to have all government officials and police officers who, in one way or the other, was involved in the violence that led to loss of life.
We have instructed our lawyers to prepare and institute local proceedings against police officers who have gone against their duty of protecting life and property of Kenyans and instead have become a threat to the very citizens they're supposed to protect.
The opposition coalition is also adamant the controversial collection of signatures exercise will not stop, even in the face of strong criticisms from the government.
We announce that our protests will resume on Wednesday, 19th July 2023.
With the country still healing from Wednesday's demonstrations, Azimio has announced a return to the streets on Wednesday next week.
We proceed with the collection of signatures against RUTO on both digital and manual platforms. We notice the Communication Authority has joined the war against Kenyans by trying to cripple our digital signature collection platform. But we will fight and soldier on while we put CA on notice.
Henry Tende, Lookuptv.
Thank you, Tende. And just an update on that story. Following those arrests, the former Kakamega County Governor Wycliffe Oparanya has been released, of course, after hours of questioning. And as well, he has addressed members of the press and said that the interrogation is just a plan by the government to threaten the opposition. And I will read in part. He has said that alleged that the government is intimidating the opposition leaders from participating in the protests. And of course, led by his lawyer, Ken Echesa, who has expressed dissatisfaction, now asking the police to return his client's vehicle. He was apprehended along the Kisumu-Kakamega highway, that is early this evening, and taken to Haega police station, then later on moved to Kakamega police station, where he was questioned and grilled for hours. He has now been released and blaming the government for the witch hunt on the opposition leaders. Because this is a story that is developing, and we'll continue giving you the updates. Moving on, Interior Cabinet Secretary Kithure Kindiki has put on notice anti-government demonstrators over the destruction of property witnessed after yesterday's demonstrations. Speaking during the launch of Kiserian Police Station in Kajiado County, the CS additionally issued a stern warning to the opposition and politicians to refrain from using anti-government protest as a way to engage in criminal activities.
Ni nchi ambayo inahitaji sisi zote tufanye bidii, tufanye kazi, tujenge nchi yetu.
Speaking during the official launch of a police station in Kajiado County, the CS confirmed that at least 312 people, including Mavoko MP Patrick Makau, had been arrested in connection to the chaos witnessed all over the country yesterday as protesters led by opposition leader Raila Odinga took to the street to oppose the sitting government due to the high cost of living in the country.
Tumeshika watu 312 akiwemo mbunge ambaye yako kitini saa hii, na tutaendelea tushike hata wale wengine ambao ni viongozi wa sasa ama viongozi wa zamani ambao walichochea ama kuchanga pesa ama kusafirisha wale wakora walisababisha ile hasara ambao tulipata.
Following the peaceful protest taking a turn for the worst yesterday, the Interior CS also issued a stern warning to the public and the opposition that the government would not tolerate any form of violent protest and the law would take its course.
Maandamano ya amani kuanza saa 11, maduka yalikuwa yanavunjwa na kuibiwa, wananchi walikuwa wanadungwa kisu na waandamanaji. Na ndiposa tumesema kutoka sasa katika nchi ya Kenya hakutakuwa na maandamano na vurugu tena, na tutakubali mtu yeyote na ule anafikiri ni mchezo ajaribu. We will not allow any violent demonstrations ever again in the Republic of Kenya.
Kindiki additionally insisted that the government was working towards bringing down the high cost of living while calling upon citizens not to use the same reason to vandalize properties, engaging in criminal activities and destruction of public infrastructure funded by the government.
Hakuna mtu anakataa ya kwamba serikali iko na kazi ya kufanya kuhakikisha kwamba maisha yamekuwa bora zaidi kuliko yalivyo sasa. Lakini mimi nauliza hivi, kuna uhusiano gani wa kupunguzwa kwa bei ya bidhaa na kwenda na kufunga barabara na kuanza kuharibu barabara ambayo imejengwa na kodi ya watu ya Kenya. Kuna uhusiano gani?
Kithure Kindiki went ahead to laud the efforts by the police officers to restore normalcy while urging them to do their duty as required by the law. Juliet Chepkoech, Lookuptv.
And staying on those protests, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has taken a swipe at former Prime Minister Raila Odinga over the loss of lives and destruction of property witnessed during yesterday's anti-government protest. Speaking in Laikipia County, Gachagua warned the opposition over planned demonstrations next week, insisting that the government will not allow what he termed as anarchy from the opposition.
Those boys who are looting things on Mombasa Road belong to that criminal gang. We are going to hunt them down. Kaa chini center. And let me say now, pahali imefika, sasa ni sawa. It's okay. Sasa wacha sasa tuone vile itakuwa. Sisi ni tunapenda demokrasia, we respect human rights, we respect the constitution. But hakuna serikali yeyote responsible itakubali watu kufanya ile maneno tuliona jana Nairobi. Wewe unasema tunafanya maandamano kuuliza haki yako. Hii mambo ya kuharibu mali ya watu, sasa hiyo ni haki gani wewe unatafuta? What right are you fighting for? Destroying life. Watu wamekufa watu 7 jana. Juzi wamekufa watu 6. Atuona jiita kiongozi. And that is why we told Uhuru Kenyatta on his face, hatuwezi chagua hiyo mtu. Hiyo mtu tunamjua. That is the lord of violence and impunity in the Republic of Kenya. And I personally told Uhuru Kenyatta, my friend, and I was his personal assistant, nikamwambia hii mtu natuletea hatuwezi chagua. This is a violent man. Hii ni mtu ya kuchafua nchi. Ni mtu ya kufanya mauaji. Alianza hii maneno 1982 akipindua Rais Moi. Akaua watu. 1997 akaua watu. 2007 akafanya watu wauawe. Alafu Uhuru alikuwa anatuambia ati tumchague, tukamwambia akwende. Tukakataa Uhuru na mtu yake. Sasa wameshikana, mauaji imeanza. Last Monday they killed 6 people. Jana watu 7. Sasa nimeona anasema tutakuwa Monday, Tuesday na Wednesday. Wanataka kuua watu gapi kila siku ndio watosheke. Hii damu ya Wakenya wanataka ni ya nini? How much blood must you shed, Raila Odinga, for you to be satisfied? The people of Kenya rejected you 5 times. Wamekukataa wa Kenya. You are now 80 years. What are you fighting for? Ni nini unafanya? Ati unapanga kila siku watu unauawa, kila siku watu unauawa, mali ya watu inaharibiwa, wewe hakuna kazi unafanya, watu yako hakuna kazi wanafanya. Umechukua vijana wetu wa hiyo criminal gang inaongozwa na hiyo mtu hapa Laikipia, unawatumia na walipa pesa kidogo.
And we're taking a very short break on that note, but we'll be back with so much more stories on the other side. Don't go too far.
Infinity Industrial Park is one of the largest private industrial parks located along Eastern Bypass, Nairobi, which provides modern infrastructure for smooth operations for industries and business enterprises. Infinity Industrial Park offers world-class amenities and facilities with wide roads, a police station, a power substation, fire station, public transport stage, hospital, and shopping mall. In addition, Infinity Industrial Park also offers CCTV cameras, 24-hour private armed security patrol, sewer, water, fiber optic cable, and 3-phase power connection, added to public utility, canteen, and dining areas. Sail on the golden opportunity to invest in Infinity Industrial Park fully serviced warehouses at a special price of 3,569 Kenyan shillings per square foot. For more inquiries, visit our website infinityindustrialpark.com.
The county government of Nyeri, with approval of His Excellency the Governor, Mutahi Kahiga, has granted 100% waiver on all interest and penalty accrued on all outstanding land rates. Property owners in Nyeri County are advised to take advantage of the waiver period that starts from 30th June 2023 and ends on 28th July 2023 on condition that the principal rates are paid in full. Property owners are advised to obtain invoices from the Sub-County Revenue Office where the property is located and make payment by depositing cash or banker's check to a bank account. Take notice that once the waiver period lapses, the county government will institute all necessary measures to recover any unpaid rates and penalties, including repossessing the property.
And welcome back. Thank you so much for staying with Lookuptv. This is Lookup News. I'm now in a limited sign language interpreter for tonight is Josephine Oko. Let's continue. The government, through Transport and Infrastructure Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen, has revealed that it will cost the taxpayer at least 500 million shillings to repair the damages resulting from yesterday's demonstrations along the Mlolongo Expressway and the Parkland Railway Station terminus. Stanley Lugaria tells us more.
During a site visit to areas affected by Wednesday protests in Mlolongo along the expressway and Pipeline Embakasi railway station to assess the damage,
we've come here to assure the investors of this very important project that the government of Kenya is going to do everything humanly possible to make sure that we bring all the perpetrators to justice. Fortunately, most of them were captured in camera, in the CCTV cameras that were here. We have the footages. The police have arrested not less than 50 people in relation to the acts that happened here yesterday. But you know, we had almost 2,000 people operating from here.
Transport Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen now says it will cost the taxpayer a whopping 1 billion shillings to repair the massive destructions on the expressway and railways, remitted within 28 days as per the existing agreement between the China investors and the Kenyan government.
Fight the cost of living. But the damage only done on the expressway could be anything up to, for that short period of time, could be anything up to $5 million. And if it reaches that level, in one infrastructure, I'm not talking about the railway, the 4 railway stations, then you know, under the agreement with the Moja Express and the people who are running this infrastructure, it's the same taxpayer. We are being told that we want to reduce the cost of living, who within 28 days must pay.
The CS noted that 50 individuals have so far been arrested in efforts to ensure all the culprits of the heinous act as captured on the CCTVs and by the media are arrested and prosecuted to serve as a lesson to prevent a repeat of similar incidents in the near future.
We will do everything humanly possible to ensure that each and every mandamano and mass action and criminal who was here yesterday is going to be brought to justice. From the roads and infrastructure and transport sector, we are going to give maximum support to the security team to make sure that we identify all those who perpetrated this heinous act yesterday.
Murkomen now says the government has with immediate effect suspended the order stopping public service vehicles from plying the prestigious expressway.
I want to tell Moja Express we support you. Today, the government of Kenya lifted the ban that was on PSV vehicles using the expressway. We are now opening it for PSV vehicles that want to use this route, and we want to make sure that we support this infrastructure, because the future of delivery of infrastructure in Kenya is no longer going to be purely on using taxpayer money. We can use private investments like the Moja Express to do PPP programs that are going to protect the people of Kenya.
Stanley Lugaria, Lookuptv, Nairobi.
Now, the ruling party, United Democratic Alliance, UDA, through its chairperson, Cecily Mbarire, and the leader of Majority, Kimani Ichung'wah, now want Azimio leader Raila Odinga held accountable for the mayhem witnessed during Azimio's Wednesday anti-government demonstrations. As Ian Keitani now reports, Ichung'wah has pointed an accusing finger at former President Uhuru Kenyatta for sponsoring the protest against the government.
Just a day after the Azimio la Umoja anti-government demonstrations were marred with chaos leading to destruction of property, UDA chairperson Cecily Mbarire now wants action taken against Azimio la Umoja leader Raila Odinga over the chaos witnessed yesterday.
We note with concern that unlike before, when the well-orchestrated violence was witnessed in some predictable parts of the country, the perpetrators of these heinous crimes imported the mayhem to other parts of the country. It is sad that as a country, we have allowed Mr. Odinga to run amok by funding violence anytime he's defeated in an election.
The leader of Majority in the National Assembly, Kimani Ichung'wah, accused former President Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga of sponsoring and threatening the country's peace through the anti-government protests.
It is quite clear that after every election, Mr. Odinga has found it fit to use bloodshed and anarchy to negotiate himself into power. He is now joined by his sponsor, who to date is yet to believe, as I said, is not in power, and his puppet never got anywhere close to power. And you can see the hands of the sponsor in the activation and mobilization of Mungiki gangs yesterday. Speaking at the party's headquarters in Nairobi, the leaders have called out Odinga for wanting another handshake through demonstrations, insisting that the protests were not about the high cost of living. Your campaign of anarchy, your campaign of bloodshed and economic sabotage will not go very far. Kenyans know you, Kenyans know your sponsor, and you must be dealt with decisively. To deal with Mr. Odinga, his sponsor, and all the other economic saboteurs with the full force of the law, and nobody should be spared. Not Mr. Odinga, not his sponsor, not the marauding gangs of Mungiki and other goons that they have mobilized. Nobody should be spared.
As the Azimio la Umoja coalition points an accusing finger at the government over the protests, the UDA legislators now want the opposition leaders held responsible for the destruction of property witnessed in the country.
It is therefore clear that Azimio leaders behind the wanton destruction of property and acts of lawlessness and loss of lives are guilty of terrorism and must be held to account. We ask the government, machinery, law enforcement and judicial officials to take decisive action on those found culpable for these barbaric acts of violence.
Ian Keitani, Lookuptv.
Now, away from the protests and more into matters economy, the latest TIFA research findings has painted a grim picture of President RUTO's administration's impact on the Kenyan population. Figures from TIFA indicate 56% of Kenyans are worried with the current economic conditions in the nation and feel the country is headed in the wrong direction. This view is largely attributed to the high cost of living, with 52% of those polled decrying the deteriorating economy under President RUTO's regime.
We're talking about the direction that Kenya is heading. This is a question that is asked standard across Kenya, even in other countries like South Africa, Uganda. This is a question that is used to assess whether Kenyans think that the country is heading in the right direction. And if it is or it's not, what are the reasons for these sentiments? So what are we finding in this study? We're finding that 56% of Kenyans feel that the country is heading in the wrong direction. 56% of Kenyans. 25% say it's heading in the right direction, and then you have about 19% who've got no opinion or who say it's neither heading the wrong direction or the right direction. Now let's analyze what are the reasons for these sentiments. Where are Kenyans saying that the country is heading the wrong direction or the right direction? So let's go to the right direction. And remember, those who are saying the country is going in the right direction now are only 25% of Kenyans. So they appreciate the leadership of Kenya Kwanza and President RUTO, that's 24% mentioned. And they also say that the economy is improving and the cost of living is not so bad, only 12%. So those are the 25% who feel that the country is heading the right direction, and remember, they are a minority. Those who say that the country is heading the wrong direction, if you remember, they are 56% in total. What is their main reason why they think the country is heading in the wrong direction? So a large majority, 79%, say that the country is heading in the wrong direction because of the high cost of living. And this is basically talking about the economy. Let's look at the main failures of the Kenya Kwanza government. Again, linked to the reason why the country is heading in the wrong direction. And what we are seeing here, out of the total sample, 52% of Kenyans are saying that increased economic hardship is the reason why, or one of the things that they count as the failures of the Kenya Kwanza government so far.
And 42 counties have set aside land for the affordable housing scheme a couple of weeks after Parliament passed into law the 1.5% housing levy. The move by the counties has been termed a game changer in the scheme that has met condemnation in praise and equal measures by members of the public. According to the CS for Lands Zakari Njeru, his ministry and the county governments are collaborating to make the program successful.
Speaking in Naivasha, Lands CS Zakari Njeru confirmed that they are working closely with 42 counties to ensure the affordable housing program is successful.
So far we have about 42 county governments have shown interest. We've signed the MOUs with them. So that shows also they are key partner in the whole affordable housing program. We have been involving them, but we've never brought them together. So we realized since what we do, we all need to have a conversation together. When the water sector talks and the power people talk and the roads, we want to be together. We want to synergize all our energies towards achieving this. So that's why as a ministry, as a government, we decided to bring them all together.
Njeru noted that the 42 counties have agreed to give land and are working with enablers like Kenya Power, roads, water, NEMA and others to facilitate the construction of the houses.
As a government, we are supposed to deliver 200,000 units each year. And for us to do that, and of course also increase the mortgage from 30,000 to $1 million. So for us to do that, we realized we must bring on board other stakeholders, and that's why we are here. We brought sectors, other different players in which will make us deliver these units. So we have water sector represented, the road sector represented. We also have the county government represented, regulators like NEMA, they are also represented. So we've come to realize that for us to be able to make the affordable housing program works, we need to bring all those players on board.
Housing PS Charles Hinga, on the other hand, termed the enablers as critical and asked regulators like NEMA to hasten the process of approving the construction plans.
And we want to ask our regulators, and we want to ask our regulators especially, please see yourself as an enabling, providing an enabling environment. You know, sometimes we want the perfect, you know, and you go and stop things because this has not been done in a perfect way, and then also you take too long to approve whatever. We want to have a very interactive process so that you help us. Of course, we don't want to break any law. You know, guys from NEMA, we want to make sure that we comply with the environmental requirements and so on and so forth, you know. So we want to walk this journey together.
Hadassah Crystal, Lookuptv.
Elsewhere, it is reprieve for schools in Daragwa in Nyandarua County after the government launched a food distribution program which supplies maize and beans to sort the acute food shortage in the region. This comes after cases of school dropouts had increased, an issue that subsequently affects school performance.
For a while now, students' dropout in schools within Nyandarua County has been on the increase due to lack of sufficient foods for students. The lower parts of the constituency had hardest hit by drought that threatens to reverse gains made by the government in driving up enrollment and retention rates In light of that, the government has begun food distribution exercise.
Kwa majina ni Agnes Wagoi, Engineer Agnes. Nimesomea kwa hii shule, Raisheri Secondary School. Mimi ni old student wa hapa. Nachukua hii fursa kumshukuru mheshimiwa wetu MP Gachagua kwa kusikia kilio chetu na kuja kutushikilia na kutusupport kama shule.
Students here are excited lot after Ndaragwa MP George Gachagua led the distribution exercise of maize and beans to various schools in the region. Gachagua noted that Ndaragwa constituency is a total contrast to the state of food security in most parts of Nyandarua County that have been receiving a considerable amount of rain in the recent past.
Majina ni Kadhongo Kamau. Mimi ndiye mjumbe mteule wa hapa ward hii ya Rishaupondo ward. Na siku ya leo tunashukuru sana. Tumeshinda tukizunguka mchana yote tukiwa na mheshimiwa Gachagua, na vile mheshimiwa Gachagua ameweza kufanya through the office of the deputy president mheshimiwa Rigathi Gachagua na ofisi ya waziri Miano wameweza kututafutia chakula, kwa sababu hii eneo la Rishaupondo tumepata kiangazi kwa njia kubwa. Tuko na crop failure kwa sababu hata mahindi yenye iko imeanza kukauka sababu ya jua.
Walter Ngaira, Assistant County Commissioner, has said that the government under the program will now ensure consistent food distribution to schools.
Majina naitwa Walter Ngaira, Deputy County Commissioner, Nyandarua North Sub-County. Tuligundua kwamba kumekuwa na changamoto kwa sababu ya ukosefu wa chakula. Watoto wamekuwa waendi shule na tuliweza kujaribu kutembea kiangalia, tukaona kwamba ni kweli watoto wengi katika lower areas ya Ndaragwa walikuwa waendi shule, na hii imekuwa inachangia matokeo mabovu kwa mitihani ya kitaifa.
The residents are now calling for a permanent solution to the challenges, including sinking of water wells that will help the access of clean water and completion of irrigation projects that had been started in that area. Mevin Getembe, Lookuptv, Nairobi.
And Margaret Wangeshi, a mother of two, is crying for help from well wishers to help her 3-year-old boy undergo corrective surgery and live a normal life. Wangeshi, a single mom, has been in and out of various hospitals in Isiolo County in order to get proper medication for her ailing son, with her efforts bearing no fruits. She's now calling on Kenyans for goodwill, to chip in and help her bedridden son.
Wangeshi is a mother in pain. Unlike many mothers who embrace their bundles of joy happily, she has not been as fortunate. Since he was 8 months old, her son Simon Waweru has been having difficulties in swallowing food, forced to use a food pipe to ingest food.
Alianza kugonjeka akiwa na miezi 7. Ndiye alianza kugonjeka, tukadimitiwa general mara 3, ndio tukarudi tukaenda Meru, tukaona daktari anaitwa Mashira, ndio kamhudumia, kamweka tube kwa sababu alikuwa anakula anatapika akikula na mdomo yake. Ndio sasa kwa sababu ilikuwa wakati ya corona, tukaambiwa tukuje naye nyumbani kwa sababu anakaa kugonjeka, wengine wakikuja sababu tunashare vitanda. Wenye tulikuja naye nyumbani tukakosa pesa ya kuendelea clinic Meru, Katino akatutuma Kenyatta.
The little one requires surgery, money that Wangeshi has been unable to raise, and effort to seek help for various hospitals have been futile. She is now calling on well-wishers to come to her aid and alleviate the pain her son is going through.
Ina wote akina momina na waomba mahali mlipo, Mungu awaguse, msaidie kiume anaitwa Samuel.
Neighbors who have witnessed her struggle now say that the surgery will enable her work and provide for her family as she spent productive hours in taking care of her sick child.
Anapitia changamoto mingi sana kwa na huyu mtoto wake. Chakula kupewa mtoto ni shida, kuna dawa anaandikianga wakati mwingine anakosa.
Faith Bonareri, Lookuptv.
And that is where we conclude our broadcast tonight here on Lookup News. James King across Facebook says the demonstration shows how frustrated Kenyans are. Let's keep engaging across all our social media platforms. Lookuptv on Twitter, Lookuptv on Facebook, and Lookuptv on our YouTube channel. And as well, do let us know where you're watching us from, because Lookuptv comes to you across all our 47 counties. And for more updates regarding the stories that we do, and of course any stories that are happening as and when they happen, we are right there. www.lookuptv.co.ke is where you can catch the latest. But that's it for now. I am Nancy Nalima. Our sign language interpreter has been Josephine Ouko. We appreciate you for watching. Have yourselves a pleasant evening and good night. Keep it Lookuptv.